real-time payments are surging during the pandemic, and the timeline set for ILP becoming the standard payment infrastructure has already started. And don't even doubt about the role of XRP. XRP as a payment asset is being recognized all over the world, and the need for that is certain, because no one is going to believe in one ledger. They will all operate on different ledgers, so need for this one is set there. Now, why I say that? Because in the current time, they all know the importance of XRP as a payment asset along with XLM. And here in this particular document, we can see XRP named as a stable coin along with Stellar Lumen's XLM. Now at the same time, if you look at this one from Bank of Japan, this document reads like, calls for more convenient and cheaper cross-border payments are on the rise recently, partly reflecting the progress of the globalization and emergence of global stablecoin initiatives. And when you come to the bottom, they talk about searching for potential roles of new payment and settlement infrastructure. The ideas of using CBDC frameworks for cross-border payments is being highlighted, right? So that is becoming more and more of something which is really needed in this market. So here they highlight it as a stable coin, and here in another government, one from Canada and another from Japan, highlights it in a different manner. Now, when we look at this particular document inside of Canada, say payments modernization in Canada, this one becomes really important. You can say the highlight here is the prime contractors, right? And the payment services like worldwide. When you look at that and their connection with Ripple, it really gets interesting. Say here, it's DXC, Accenture, IBM, ACI, Swift, Vocalink, Equens, Worldline, and others. Now, what we are interested here is to check their partnerships, right? So let's unwind these links of each of those organizations from their websites, from their documents, and look at the connection with Ripple, what they think of Ripple, what they are doing with Ripple, and what is the potential opportunity which we are looking at. Like, just one of that is ACI, which executes 14 trillion a day in payments and security. So that's actually huge. So what is the general trend of 2020 in the global payments market? Let's unwind this. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value for your time, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you'd like to extend your support, you can check the Patreon, PayPal, or the XRP wallet address given in the description below. Now, we have to go through all of these documents, which really gives you the insights into what we are going to discuss today. So let's dive in. So firstly, we can understand that when the economy is suffering around the globe, you get to see this. Now, this is kind of a recent article, October 5th of 2020. So it's kind of a new thing, right? So volume of real-time payments is surging during this pandemic. So the requirement for a real-time payment infrastructure around the globe is there. Now, this document is not new, but the items described there with the year timeline is really important to understand, because from 2020 to 2025, what you are looking at is ILP becoming the standard, right? And when you look at these, say DXC, Accenture, IBM, and all who are in the space of payments, what you can understand is it's really important. Now, this one is from Equens Worldline. So it is one of the institutions which is mentioned here. Say this one, Equens Worldline, which is real-time payment service provider, right? So when we go into their document, say they have a lot to talk about this particular arena, which is the payments, but the area which will be interesting for most of us is the area where they talk about cross-border payments, right? Because we are looking at XRP as a bridge asset for cross-border payments. Let it be remittance, let it be e-commerce, or whatever it is. We are looking at payment from one fiat to another. Let it be from digital fiat to digital or existing framework. But when you read through this, the next few years could see cross-border payments landscape transformed by a variety of advancing technology, alternatives like DLT, distributed ledger technology. And what's the example given there? It's Ripple. And fintech service offerings like TransferWise. So, TransferWise and Ripple are being mentioned there, along with Swift's GPI and the current ISO standard, which we are all looking at. So that's directly from Worldline. So what are they talking about there? Next few years could see the entire payments landscape changing. Wow. So this one is showing, this is not that old article, it's just 1 year, say August of 2019. It states Ripple's XRP attracts a top European payment service provider, Equens Worldline. Now, just one of them, which is like say ACI, is processing 14 trillion a day. Again, going back to this document, you can actually understand the contractors are like DXC, Accenture and IBM. We already went in the documents of IBM, Accenture here in the Scientific Investors channel a lot of times. So I hope majority of you guys are familiar with that one. Now, the new one here is DXC, this one, DXC technology, which is actually looking into that kind of arena for payments. And now the importance is being given, or it's being focused, concentrated on the interoperability standards. So it's not just one random thing there. When you come through the document and read through the entire items, you understand there is a real importance given to Ripple as a company. If you read that blockchain, but blockchain isn't a monolithic technology. Various blockchain protocols or flavors have emerged independently. You have to understand everything are independent frameworks, including Ethereum, Hyperledger Fabric, Quorum, Ripple, Coda, and others. So each of its own features and focus are different. Okay, Ethereum, for example, they are highlighting is a public blockchain, while Ripple is a payments blockchain, and other three, which is as I mentioned, were developed as enterprise blockchains. And while the others were built to support the financial service industry, look at that, Ripple to support banks and financial institutions. It really is so important because we are entering into an arena where banks need new infrastructure to compete with each other, because not every banks rely on their side. Because when we look at this is the scenario in between bankers. If you agree with me or not, that is the truth there. So when you get to see this in DXC, you already know about the talks between ACI, Ripple. There's nothing new there, but majority of us already understand that. And Swift is running a pilot with Coda. We went through that previously. So now what you have to look at is majority of the payment providers are looking at instant payments. And this is at a time when the pandemic is kicking the economy, but the requirement for real-time payments is increasing. Three of the main contractors for these are DXC, Accenture, IBM, who are all looking at Ripple and ILP, in which XRP Ledger is the core and the bridge asset is in XRP Ledger. Then we look at the payment services like ACI, Swift, Equens Worldwide, VocaLink, and other stuffs. All of them are concentrating on the same thing. So it's not just one institution coming out with 14 trillion, it's going to be a huge payments market around the globe, which would have to interoperate within each other. And that's when we look at this one, McKinsey and Company's report for payments. Now, this is a new report in which when you go through, you get to understand a lot of different arenas. But when you come here, consolidation had driven scale economy imperatives and non-bank market entrance. That is something which you really have to highlight and understand. Non-bank market entrants were gaining inroads with underserved verticals. So that is really talking about the financial inclusion aspects. We have already went through such kind of initiative and talks about financial inclusion using that particular keyword in IMF, BIF, on even UN and other central banks, and all using Ripple as Internet of Value for that financial inclusion perspective, right? So when you come down, our experts detail the need of redefining offerings to encompass full suite of value-added services, extending well beyond payment settlements, including fraud controls, everything going towards e-commerce, blah, 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 and all the other stuffs, which is really important. So when you read through the entire stuff, what you are looking at here is payments from different arena. Why? The winds of change in global payments. It's accelerating now. When majority of businesses are suffering due to this pandemic, this particular industry is embracing that opportunity. It's seizing that opportunity and moving forward in a positive trajectory. It's not like they are being impacted heavily, but they are producing more for customers by giving them a best share of what they actually need. And if you understand this, previously all of them were talking about just negative about the entire stuff, and we then talked about banks which is needing a new infrastructure, and they highlights Ripple is built for banks and financial institutions. And now this one from Michael: crypto banks are going to swallow fiat banks in 3 years. Now you really have to look at that. Banks need an infrastructure to operate on which they can use any different assets. Let it be BTC, let it be Ether, let it be any other assets. They need an infrastructure on which it is a neutral, so that they can take in any different assets and then use it, or at least they can tokenize what asset they need. So tokenization, we already went through that, XRP ledger and tokenization in different video with detailed ideas about how this is unwinding, right? And now this is ending towards a new banking arena where bankers need to go and adopt crypto, otherwise they are being kicked out. Or it's something you all will be here when these are all happening in next 2 to 5 years. Now this tweet from Marcus Reacher shows now the time for strong regulatory leadership, and they're talking about Europe here, blockchain for Europe. So US, now we already heard that US side clarity from Ripple, the company. You directly heard it from Brad and Chris. So there is nothing much. Whereas in the other side, it's kind of positive. They are moving out with that. So here it's stating we need a framework like Digital Commodities Exchange Act that provides clarity. Otherwise, companies are going to move overseas, and that means maybe Singapore, maybe UK, maybe, the area which provide a regulatory clarity. And that is why if Europe lagged way behind US in last decades, they're trying to lean in, they're going in a different mission. If you look at their interest rate, it's kind of in a negative territory, whereas US is still maintaining that positive trend. So when bankers are being pushed to a corner and they have to change, they will be going into a new infrastructure. So that has to understand, that you really have to understand. And this is one of a country in Europe where it states Dutch central bank gives first approval to digital asset exchange. So they are moving towards the positive area where, we can say if this is a race of a new revolution, which is the 4th industrial revolution. China is way ahead. Europe is trying to catch up. And US is kind of falling behind. And I really had another article. Federal Reserve and 6 other central banks set out core digital currency principles. They are working on this one. What you have to understand is they are all using common item reports or definitions, usage and other stuff put out by BIS, IMF and others. These have been there from a long time, which even Europe, Sweden, precisely in Europe, all are following that, right? So these were already available. At least Ripple, the company, is a US based company, which is if they actually wanted to implement this as soon as possible, they could have. But the issue is old guys, uneducated guys about these, you kind of get a mixture of politicians where not everyone understands this. But SEC Commissioner says here, DeFi has the potential for revolutionary change, but new crypto assets may be securities. Now, why I am linking this? Because we just saw that banks are going to be crypto banks. So the adoption rate for crypto is going to another side. But at the same time, if you're going in and investing in different small projects, when you are looking at, the price is low, its volatility is high, you can make money. Just be certain about what the asset is, what the project is all about, and how the fundamental looks like. So these are all real important factors which you have to concentrate, because when we look at Ripple, the company, this one is kind of a highlight there. XRP Crypto Wolf actually sent me this one, and it shows Ripple's early investors, Standard Chartered banks, want to hold more cryptocurrency for institutional investors. They came aboard Ripple a long time back, and they are still using that network. And that is an important thing to note. Why? Because they still believe in this technology and they still understand the infrastructure of Interledger protocol. Standard Chartered Bank is looking to grow its crypto team and increase its cryptocurrencies under management for institutions. So is it just retail investors like you and me going in this technology, looking at the future of this? No, institutions are entering, and for sure they are all accumulating even at this phase, but yes, not at the real way that they could actually do that. But they are now, slowly taking a small bite without taking that huge chunk out from the market. But once that regulatory clarity hits the globe, it would be magical, and we would be kind of, a bit of surprised. Even though we all understand that this is coming, majority would still be surprised. Now, the SWELL event is closing in, and we can see it's October 14th and 15th. And here, we already understood that World Economic Forum already highlighted Ripple as an company and XRP as an asset. Now, World Economic Forum's Sheila Warren keynotes Ripple SWELL Global. So will there be something bombarding? We don't know. From here, it would, if I say so, it will just be a speculation from my end, but I personally think it's going to be much huge, because as we talked in last video, Ripple, the company, is looking at something huge in this SWELL. Now, the expectation of that SWELL may push the price to the upside. But do remember this, if that doesn't happen, or if it is at least depresses all of the XRP holders, it will go the opposite side. Do understand that most of the time towards the SWELL, the price may go up, and by the SWELL, if it's coming out like what they expected was something more and it didn't happen, the price may just dump on you. So you have to understand. But when we look at the general market, say XRP USD, it's still in a positive trend. And it's showing you that it is moving towards the upside, and next area can be 0.4. Now, looking at Ethereum, it's similar. It gave us a positive breakout and it's moving to the upside. So if we look at the general trend in BTC2, it's also showing that it's moving towards 12,000 per BTC, which is also a positive stance for the entire crypto market. Now, when we look at XRP on a weekly chart and look at what really is happening, as we've been following this particular pattern and using the same trend line here in that rounded bottom, we'll have to complete or get a confirmation about whether this is just a rounded bottom or it's going to be a top and handle. Then it may come around 0.3, 0.32 and then go down, make a handle here. Now, we are not sure about that, but if it's breaking that 0.32, 0.34 mark, then it would be going towards 0.42 as we just talked in the last one. So in general, when we look at in a zoomed in view for XRP, this is what we see. In the RSI, we are going in a trend line, which is positive. And now at the same time, when we look at the price, we've been following a same trajectory till here, but from there it changed. The bulls are more engaging here. The bullishness is increasing at that particular stance, but the horizontal resistance around 0.26 is still intact. If you look at here in this area and this area, it was still valid and the price is still respecting those levels. So as soon as we break this level, we should see more bullish momentum going on. So guys, I really hope you guys received value for your time. If you would like to go through and read these documents, I would put these links in the description so that it will help you guys to go through and read these and extend or widen your knowledge level about crypto, and precisely for XRP and the payments market, which we are focusing on. So that's all for today, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can hit that like and subscribe button. And if you would like to extend your support, you can contribute via Patreon, PayPal, or the XRP wallet address. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.